Alright, first and foremost, I want to go ahead and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to all the apostles at Great Millstone, and honors to all you brothers, all my fellow Akim, who are just dealing with this bullshit, going through these afflictions. And Lord's will, this is an edifying video, but the title of this is called, I don't really know yet, because this article just came out, and I only have one precept. This is a very short video, but it is based upon the fact that everybody's done with Babylon's bullshit, and it's really starting to show on a diplomatic scale. It's starting to show in a lot of these articles. You know, these articles, man, they used to hide the truth. You know, but now they have no choice but to just bring it out, as a lot of the brothers like to say. I'm just gonna go ahead and read this. Iran plotting with U.S. allies to skirt Trump's new sanctions. Global showdown looms as Trump administration cracks down on Tehran. And before I do that, this is Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif, France's Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, and Germany Foreign Minister Heiko Maas. So this is really just like a picture representation of what's going on. You got Iran, France, and Germany basically coming up against America and saying, "Hey, you know, we're not going to do any sanctions. You know, fuck those sanctions. Y'all can take them sanctions and you know, shove them where the sun don't shine." And we're basically seeing everybody is turning their back towards America and showing that diplomatically. So here's a continuation. Iranian officials are plotting with U.S. allies across the globe to develop a series of measures meant to counter new sanctions by the Trump administration following its abandonment on the landmark nuclear deal, setting up a global economic showdown between America and its so-called allies over their future business dealings with the Islamic Republic. And you know, it's bad enough already that we can't seem to get it the fuck together. And by we, I mean, I'm gonna say America because, you know, of course the brothers live in America, so I'm just gonna say we for argument's sake. But America can't get it the fuck together, and it's all biblical. You know, America's never gonna get this shit together. They're gonna get hit with nukes, and this is prophecy. You know, but for the people that don't know that, for the people that don't believe that, these are good indicators. You know, they said it themselves. They're plotting. I mean, how much more specific does it have to get? They're having meetings. They're not including the U.S. And they've decided, okay, you know, Iran wants to start to get paid in euros. They said, we don't need America's funky ass dollar. Y'all can have that funky ass dollar, man. We don't need the USD. And everybody else is following suit. You know, you got France and you got Germany. And, you know, Germany is one of the top economic powers on the planet. And so is France. And, you know, France is heavily in bed with the Islamists, man. They're heavily in bed. So, you know, Esau is starting to realize that there's no loyalty amongst the ranks. You know, everybody's starting to disband, and everybody's getting ready to draw their arrows. In biblical terms, they're ready to draw their arrows, and this is just a precursor for that. You know, they say you have to settle things with democracy, and if that doesn't work, then you apply the military aspect, aka war. So diplomatically, they've already spoken on what they're finna do. They're not rocking with the U.S. no more. They're finna start rocking with the EU, and you know, just prepare. You know, because these videos, man, this is just for the hopeful elect. We not making no videos for no goddamn French. You know, for no goddamn Germans, none of that, man. We making this for the hopeful elect. You know, and this is just a sign. You know, even if one person watches this, That's just one person that's going to understand what's going on. But to continue, it says Iranian leaders disclosed on Tuesday that they had recently held high-level meetings with European Union nations and leaders in India and Thailand to explore options for skirting new U.S. sanctions. So these are new. They're coming up with new sanctions every day. Sanctions on oil, sanctions on certain products. And you can tell, man, these Iranians ain't playing. And once again, the constant reiteration, and I had a video that I made like maybe a month ago, and it was talking about how Iran is Persia. And a lot of people in Iran call themselves Persians. They don't even call themselves Iranians, because that's what they truly are. Because the Lord, and the Lord knows them as Persians. Well, more specifically Ishmaelites, because He only deals with nations. There are only 18 nations on this earth. But it's a common misconception that, you're this or you're that. But that's what it all comes back down to. The Iranians, who are the Persians, who are the Ishmaelites. Okay, they're getting tired of Esau, man. And Esau and Ishmael have been working hand in hand for a long time. But it gets to the point where what can you do? You go to Iran, you got the women listening to hip hop, trap music and shit, and they're getting tired of getting affected, man. They're getting tired of feeling the sting that this woman, man, as this woman travails, as this woman causes a burden. They're getting tired of it, and especially Iran. Because Iran is one of the last countries that are not held, to a U.S. standard per se. So they're an enemy, in the eyes of the United States, which I think is crazy. If you're gonna have an enemy, have it be your friend. You know what I mean? Have it be your friend first, and then if they act stupid, then you attack them. If we're gonna go with an Esau mind frame. But no, these people are just declaring all-out war on Iran. And me personally, I think it's stupid. But once again, this is prophecy, and all these prophecies shall come to pass. Iran is definitely going to start shooting nukes. France, Germany, it's going to be a all around turning, and they're going to turn. They will turn on America. It's prophecy. I'm going to go ahead and finish reading this in this video with the precept. Iran's efforts and the warm reception it is receiving from many nations has roiled leaders on Capitol Hill, where some lawmakers are already moving to confront these countries and ensure they face harsh repercussions for any breach of U.S. sanctioned law. So you already know, man. You already know what time it is. You really think that Capitol Hill gonna let Iran do their thing, and not say shit? Of course not. It's all out wartime. And when it comes to Iran, they ready, man. You think they're scared? They're tired of the bullshit. As with the rest of us. But anyways, the State Department also is scrambling to respond to Iran's efforts by building counter-coalition aimed at isolating Tehran and any nation that works with Iran to skirt new U.S. sanctions, U.S. officials told the Washington Free Beacon. But that's not true. Everybody's going to rise up against Babylon regardless, despite sanctions or whatever. Because this is prophecy. Can't get past prophecy. Continuing, Iranian government spokesman Mohammad Bagher Nobagat disclosed on Tuesday that the nation's top leaders, including Foreign Minister Javad Zarif, have met with European leaders and others in the region to discuss skirting new U.S. sanctions, which have targeted virtually every portion of Iran's economy, including its contested nuclear and energy sectors. So they're hitting them where it hurts, so they're trying. And the more that they hit Iran, the closer we're going to get. We're getting close. It says Zarif recently concluded a trip to India and Thailand where he is reported to have made much progress in convincing these nations to help Tehran bypass the new U.S. sanctions, which were fully reimposed by the Trump administration after its decision to walk away from the nuclear agreement. And it's not going to be hard to convince countries to bypass these new sanctions. Nobody rocks with America, man. You're not rocking with them. Here my screen go. In addition to the EU, we are improving relations with other countries, especially the neighbors. Novak was quoted as saying on Tuesday in Iran's state-controlled press. Meetings with leaders in India are said to have gone particularly well for Iran, sparking outrage in the United States, where these same Indian leaders have been pleading with the Trump administration to boost relations. So they're double tongued. On one hand, the heathens want peace with Babylon, and on the other hand, they want war. And what's apparent? They really want war. All these countries, they say they're on Trump's side. They're not. They're tired of his shit. They just, it's just like the schoolyard bully. America is the schoolyard bully, and all these other countries, they're starting to realize we got to rise up against this bully. This goddamn bully beating up everybody. India and China have already vowed to continue purchasing Iranian crude oil, despite the Trump administration's crackdown. You see, and if India starts paying in the rupee, and China starts paying in the yuan or the yen, whatever it's called, they start paying for the oil in that. You see, they're not using the petrodollar. That's grounds for war by itself, in and of itself. And I'm just gonna finish this up right here, and then I'll do my precept. A major part of the oil is sold to India and China. And you gotta remember, India uses a lot of rockets. China uses a lot of rockets. They use a lot of cars. So this is something that they're going to need. So basically by China and India buying Iran's oil, they're basically saying, well, fuck America, man. We don't need your reserves, your oil reserves. We got our own shit going on. And it says we are also in talks with Europe to continue oil sales to them. And Iran's increased oil sales to them has even been under discussion with them to compensate any drop if some states decrease oil imports. So they're already saying, look, oh man, Satan's sending bugs and shit my way. You know what time that is. But anyways, so basically they're gonna compensate. So they're saying, hey, if you don't rock with America, we'll compensate the money that you lose. So they're going all in. They're doubling down, so to speak. And it says Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, in remarks following meetings with top Iranian leaders, vowed to ignore U.S. sanctions. India follows only United Nations sanctions and not unilateral sanctions by any country. Swaraj was quoted as saying, emphasizing that India remains independent and immune to pressure. And what is that pressure? That's that pressure coming from Trump and America to work specifically with them. But once again, a majority of them Indians are heathens, man. So their anger is kindled against Babylon, man, and that's the spirit, man. And it's a U.S. Department official speaking only on background told the Free Beacon that under newly installed Secretary of State Pompeo's leadership, American diplomats are already developing relationships aimed at ensuring U.S. sanctions on Iran have a maximum impact. So they're not just talking about sanctions just to talk about them. They really want those sanctions, man. They really want to put that pressure so that can be a catalyst, for war. We are hard at work in our efforts to build our new effort to counter the totality of Iran's malign activity with our friends around the world. Secretary Pompeo speaks frequently with his counterparts from the UK, France, and Germany, as well as our allies in the Middle East and Asia. And they don't have no fucking allies. But they're going to realize that, soon as UK, France, Germany, they're all very heavily in bed with the Middle East and Asia. So really, it's Babylon versus UK, France, Germany, Middle East and Asia. And it says teams of U.S. diplomats are being sent across the globe to galvanize support for the new U.S. sanctions. So they're just getting sent to talk shit and reiterate that the fact that the U.S. ain't backing down. Them proud ass devils, man, they ain't backing down. You already know that. We will be sending out teams of diplomats and specialists to talk about specific concerns with the plan for re-imposition of U.S. nuclear-related sanctions and next steps with Iran, the official said. We are fully engaged at all levels. So, hey, it's all the way 100 at this point. Like niggas like to say. They just they going all out. It's full steam ahead on Esau, man, because they've decided, how can we live a life such as this with Esau breathing down our back all damn day. They're trying to trade oil, certain resources, and they can't do that, because it's that the U.S. is constantly on the back. And I'm not going to read it. On Capitol Hill, opponents of the nuclear accord are working on parallel efforts to ensure that any foreign nation caught skirting new U.S. sanctions on Iran faces harsh repercussions, including massive economic penalties and a possible cutoff from the U.S. financial system. So that's their threat. Hey, if you get to working with Iran, not as much U.S. money is going to go into your economy. But people are starting to realize, man, that U.S. dollar, man, is toilet paper, man. It ain't good for nothing. So the veil is definitely being lifted. India is going out of its way to alienate members of Congress, including many who have been sympathetic and trying to help them. And India is very wishy-washy. One second they're on America's side, next minute they're this way, they're that way. But we all know, the spirit discerns that India is a very heavy player in this game. They're also right next to Pakistan, and you know how Pakistan is with the nukes. You know how India is with the nukes. They really are with the shit. You know what I mean? Like niggas like to say, man. They really are. They got the weapons and they ready to go. They're almost certainly violating the sanctions against Russia that overwhelmingly passed Congress last summer, said the source, who would only speak on background about these efforts. Now they're bragging about violating Iran sanctions too. They keep telling us they want a new relationship with America, but then they act in these destructive ways. It's very troubling. So, two-sided. And this is all the nations, man. Everything outside the nation Israel, man, is two-sided. And even amongst our people, even amongst Israel, 2/3 are two-sided. So it's the elect that are looking at these signs, and and that's about it, man. They're done playing. They're done playing. The UK, Germany, India, Iran, Russia, they're all coming up against the Great Whore. And to end this video, man, I got just a little something here. I couldn't remember what the word, or I couldn't remember what the verse was, so I looked it up on the Blue Letter Bible. I just typed in "against her," and I think I found the verse that I wanted. This is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 7. And the multitude of all the nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munition, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. And when you think about that, a dream of a night vision, that's usually a very revealing thing. And I don't know who exactly Ariel is. I believe that's a person, but it's just to see those words against her, against her, and to see all nations, that's a reiteration of what we see. Here's some more. This is Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 17. As keepers of a field are they against her round about, because she hath been rebellious against me, saith the Lord. And they're rebellious in always possible. Poisoning the elect, putting shit on the TV, messing with the kids' minds, man. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on. Uh, Here's a few more. This is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 3. Shepherds with their flocks shall come unto her. They shall pitch their tents against her. Round about they shall feed everyone in his place. So when they pitch up their tents, you know what are their tents? Their tents are their barracks. You know, when opposing sides of war, they would have tents where the men would stay in their barracks. So they're going to set up their barracks all around, you know, continuously. And this is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 4. Prepare ye war against her. Arise, and let us go up at noon. Woe unto us, for the day goeth away, for the shadows of the evening are stretched out. So what are those shadows of the evening, man? You know, because remember, woe means destruction. So destruction onto us. That's what they're saying as they rise up against her. Because they know, you know, as soon as they rise up against America, they're getting destroyed. Because nobody's judgment is going to be short counted. You know, in those days, nothing's getting short counted. Everything, man, everything is being seen. So even they know when they go up against her that they're going to be destroyed. You know, by Yahweh shot. Just a couple more. This is Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. You know, so a speckled bird, you know, that's, you know, it can be considered unclean or whatever the case is, but they're all coming against her, you know, so that's why I say assemble all beasts of the field, come to devour, and to devour her, you know, which is Babylon, come to devour Babylon. So that's what they're doing. So this is what they're doing right now. They're assembling all the beasts, you know. And we're just going to go with this last one right here. Jeremiah chapter 46, verse 22. The voice thereof shall go like a serpent, for they shall march with an army, and come against her with axes, as hewers of wood. You know, and what do they say? Oh, we want to be on America's side. So they're coming in the voice of a serpent. You know, India is, China is, Russia is, because on one hand they say we want diplomatic talks, but all the while they're planning on Babylon's downfall. So of course, you know, they are like unto a serpent, definitely. You know, these heathen nations. And they're going to come against her with axes, you know, as hewers of wood, man. And I'm guessing hewing of wood is chopping down wood, you know. So this tree, this giant, wicked-ass tree, is going to get chopped down, man. Hey, and all praises, you know, and hey, you know, since we can, let's do one more. It can't hurt to do one more. This is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 14. I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together, and come against her, and rise up to the battle. And what's the battle, man? The battle is that final battle in the Valley of Decision. You know, all those borders that are shared, you know, all those shared borders, man. They just, they really can't. And that saying distracted me, man. You know, got women walking by. You know, they look good. You know, and that's why this place has got to go, man. This shit is getting old. You know, you read these excerpts, and you get a knowledge, man. You get a full, real deal knowledge of what's going on. And we just, you know, you get distracted. You be really in the spirit, you know, and then you see a good-looking woman, and you just forget what the hell you're saying, man. And that's witchcraft. And that's one of the big reasons why America is getting done away with. It's that witchcraft, man. That witchcraft is getting revealed, and that's why everybody is rising up against her. You know, is because that witchcraft ain't getting used no more, man. America is kind of like the one big that just she done fooled too many niggas, and now the whole neighborhood is finding out. So what do niggas do when niggas get done dirty? They go and they get their female cousin to beat her up. So basically, all the heathen nations, are getting their cousins to come beat up the whore, so to speak. But that's all I want to do is just go ahead, get a couple of these precepts, and go ahead and just say, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Hopefully that was very edifying, to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the elect. I pray that more gets revealed day by day, trying to make more videos. It's a possibility. The Most High coming within a year, a year or two. That's a possibility. So you have to keep your foot on Esau's neck. And this information is a foot on his neck, definitely. So shalom to the elect, and all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.